You have several kinds of players now in the retailing space in India, right from corporate houses like the Tatas with Tata Trent, with Westside, with Star Bazaar and Chroma, just to take in 4 different types of areas. So they have now the second largest player in the retailing space. You have the RPG group, which has now, they have parted ways with Food World, and they have the Spencer's range of shops all over the place, along with a more cosmetics and health oriented chain, which is Health and Glow. And you also have ITC, which is more into Will's lifestyle and things like that, more in the clothing and accessory space. And then you have other players like Raheja's with Shoppers Stop and Hiranandani and other people, Big Bazaar and so on and so forth. You also have people who have dedicated brand outlets like the watch companies or jewelry companies like again Tata in Titan and in Tanishq, or people in the shoe and lifestyle accessory space like Nike and Reebok, and also some clothing companies like Zodiac and Raymond's and so on and so forth. You have many people who are multi-brand chains like Vivek's in the south predominantly, or Vijay Sales predominantly in Bombay and around. So you have a lot of bunch of people like that, and you also have certain people who are manufacturers and exporters. Bata is one of the most famous, been around for so many years with its chain of stores. Then you also have Pantaloons with their chain of stores, and then similarly people like Weekender from Gokuldas, which is a major exporter but which also has a chain of stores. So you have various categories of folks out here. You also have people with a more traditional format and people with a more modern format, like supermarkets and hypermarkets and specialty chains. And there are also, if you look at even things like petroleum products, you have company owned, company operated outlets by even the major public sector units, and you also have company owned and dealer operated outlets again in the same business. But the traditional format retailers are your kirana shops or your local provision stores. You also have street markets or street retailers, and then you also have kiosks. In fact, today kiosk management is becoming a very increasingly specialized area, and you have even kiosks all over the place, right outside supermarkets or within shopping malls and in several other places. You also have the shop in shop kind of concept. So this is becoming in fact a subspecialty in retail management. If you take some of the large retailers, we have a bunch of names. I'm sure as experienced professionals and people who follow marketing, you can add your own set of names to this. These are just some names in different areas, and you can actually see how things have changed dramatically over the last 10 years in different areas. The other thing which is changing with respect to retailing is the Indian customer. What the customer was like 25 years ago is not the Indian customer of today. From a subsistence economy, India has become a more consuming economy. There has been a dramatic increase in the per capita disposable income of middle class households. The number of such households has risen on the one side, plus the increase in income has also been substantial. While we have statistics here which go up to 2003 and show you that there is a 21% growth in just 4 to 5 years, since then there has been an even greater growth. There's a growing number of people entering the middle class. There's also increasing change in the kind of products and goods being consumed. If you take food as an example, there is a greater tendency today towards a more high protein diet. All this has implications for retailers. There's also other aspects, there was in between a falling interest rate. Now again interest rates have gone up. There's more access to customer credit in several areas, be it for automotives, be it for houses, be it even for personal loans or for consumer durables, even for holidays. All this impacts the kind of channels that are out there and how customers also use those channels. And plus, in many product categories, there's greater variety, there's more competition and number of price points. All of this points to huge number of choices, huge number of options and huge number of demands placed by customers on manufacturers and retailers. In addition, there is also a change in lifestyle. Like I mentioned about change in food habits with respect to greater protein usage, there is also evidence of that in several other areas. People going out more often, wanting to buy things more often, or wanting more international brands and more international kind of a lifestyle. All this again places greater demands, because today the customer is more demanding, more discerning, has more access to information, does his research many times better before he comes to buy something. And it's not just, unlike the days of the past, it's not just need-based shopping. It's not like you buy clothes only for Diwali, but you also buy clothes more regularly, and you don't just buy things at the beginning of the year for school, you may even buy things, more often than that. There's also a changing mindset, there's increasing consumerism, people are willing to spend more money, and in certain categories people don't bother too much about price. In fact, a recent study shows that education and healthcare and certain categories of food, the housewife or the family doesn't mind spending more money on those things. They really want high quality or a good choice rather than just something which is of low quality and low price. So the newer generation, the new millennium kids, or those who are born in the last 15-16 years, there's a tremendous difference in how they see the world as opposed to the generations before them. All this, coupled with increasing literacy, increasing awareness, increasing education, is creating a great transformation of customers, and therefore also has its impact on how we reach those customers. All this means great opportunity, and there's a sense that there is a lot of growth which is going to happen on the retailing side. A few years ago, when this textbook was written, the market size was just about 300 billion. It must be much higher than that right now. I don't have the figures with me. And most of the stores today that are there, this 12 million to 15 million stores, are very small. But there is going to be a change, because A, the retailing industry is expected to grow much larger than all this. Two, there's also going to be a change in terms of the sales from the newer and large format stores as opposed to the more traditional stores. And you can also see that these newer formats and the specialty stores are likely to see tremendously rapid growth. All this means more opportunities for marketers and for professionals in this space.